Welcome everyone. I'm Jay Murph with the Crypto Rain channel because this year it is totally going to rain. So let's get into it. The other day, based on a suggestion from some of the viewers, I did a brief review on Cashaa, and I wanted to do a much deeper dive into it. Now, based on the brief review and based on what I had seen after doing a little bit of research myself, I was interested enough I did make some purchases on it. Not huge purchases, but when I've since done further research, I did make some much bigger purchases on this. I want to explain to you why. Because doing a deeper dive in this, I'm seeing so many things I like. Now, I've seen some things I don't like, which happens with everything. And I'll be real with you about what I don't like and what I do like. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a person. I have my own likes and dislikes. And so I'm just here to provide information as you're doing your own research. So as to what decision you make based on it, well, I hope you do lots of research, because at the end of the day, none of us are financial advisors. We're just all making our own decisions. Some of us have taken the time to put in and create a YouTube channel just to explain it. So let's get into it. Cashaa, what is going on with it? Well, it is in the news a little bit because some big pumps, but it's not in the news a lot. No major YouTubers are talking about it. I love that, because isn't it much better to get in before they do? Because if someone has an audience of 200,000 or 300,000 people and they talk about something with such a small market cap, it absolutely pumps big. Now, it's already pumped some, but it's not even back to its ICO price. So let's talk a little bit about what are the cons behind this and what are some of the pros behind it, and I'll tell you what I'm interested in and what I'm not. So first of all, the original token sale, let's go to, not that, we want to go to ICO drops, and their original fundraise, they were trying to get up to 32 million. And interesting, if you think back to 6th of December 2017, this is right about the time Bitcoin was peaking, and they were only able to raise 1/3 of their total ask. So they were selling off these tokens at 10 cents a piece at the time. And so if you think about this, just doing some math, of their total supply of 1 billion coins, they sold 110 million. Now, so those were their ICO buyers. Now, interestingly enough, I want to take you here. The total circulating supply is 686 million. So that means if they only sold off 110 million at that point, well, there's another 576 million on the market, which is probably them continuing to sell to fund their development. But there's only a total supply of 1 billion, and I like it when I look at something and so much of their total supply is already on the market, because it makes it harder for huge drops, huge amounts to be dropped and sold on the heads of people who are holding the coin, right? So I love that 2/3 is already in circulation. That doesn't mean some people didn't buy it at some really cheap prices and they'll dump them, because let's look at this a little bit. Now, came out right at the height of the market. Now, one of the things that's held it back is it's based in India. And, you know, as a US person myself, I don't follow India too closely. The only project out of India that I've put money into was one that has not done well at all. I bought it on a low and it's gone way lower since then, and that's Zebi coin. From its ICO, it actually did over 100x and went absolutely crazy, and then had a huge pullback, which I thought would be a great entry point, and it ended up being disastrous, because since then I think it's worth about 5% of what I bought it at after it hit massive lows. And so I don't even know if it's still alive today. It might not be. Zebi, I still hold it, right? But it may never come around. So part of the reason Zebi has done so poorly and other companies have done poorly out of India is because the Royal Bank of India has been very crypto unfriendly, and a lot of the politicians with ties to the Royal Bank of India have been very crypto unfriendly. So that's one of the big cons about this, is being out of India, is the regulatory situation is, let's say, unstable. In fact, Some of the politicians have been really trying to eliminate crypto because they see it as a threat to their power structure. However, the people of India, so many being technically savvy, great internet users, I mean, they're very smart. They've been very crypto friendly. So the Royal Bank of India has had to reverse some of their decisions because the people were so upset about them. And so thankfully, it seems that crypto's taken a hold of so much of the population that it's probably going to be like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It just can't happen for forever. So one of the cons is based out of India, and it's an uncertain regulatory situation there. Second con, well, we've already talked about it, is they only were able to sell off 11 million of the 32 million that was being sought during the ICO. Third, nearly everyone has completely forgotten about Cashaa. Now, onto the pros. One of the biggest pros is nearly everyone has forgotten about Cashaa. Why do I think that's a pro? Because I like gems before they're on everyone's mind. I am not buying any Link right now. Now, Link could go another 10x from now, could go 100x. That ship has sailed, in my opinion. And so, though I like Link as a project, I miss that boat. And I don't chase boats after I miss them when there's so many great boats available. Make sense? Secondly, this has kind of been a con, but it's also been a pro. They have taken the slow, legally compliant route. Now, this is very important, especially in India and the US, because though crypto can completely revolutionize our fintech industry, if you don't go the legally compliant route, it's kind of like speeding at 110 miles per hour in your Ferrari. You might get away with it for a while, but the regulators are going to notice, and then you risk being shut down completely. So the legally compliant route is the slower approach to do, and one of the ones I've been very bullish on is Nash, and they've done nothing so far, but they have gone the slow, legally compliant route, and so they're going the right approach so that their risk is way lower, and their risk of being shut down is way lower. So the third pro on this is that I think CeFi is going to outperform DeFi unless DeFi can make it much simpler to use. So let's think about Grandma. Now, when Grandma, in order to invest in DeFi, has to go first to, say, Coinbase or some other fiat gateway, get that all set up with her bank to be able to send money and buy, say, Ethereum on Coinbase. They then have to create a MetaMask account and send Ethereum to their MetaMask wallet. Then they have to do a swap on Uniswap for whatever token they want, but still leave some Ethereum in there. So once they then get some of that token, they then have to go and put it into a liquidity pool, and then they have to stake that liquidity or LP token, right? That is just never going to happen for Grandma. And so us nerds, we can do that. Why? Because we've kept up with the technology, but it's still very, very difficult now. And so that is going to be much slower to hit mass adoption. Now, there are things taking place to make that process simpler. However, when a process is so complex and you have to do so much explaining, you'll never hit mass adoption. Mass adoption happens as things become simpler to do. And so when you take an existing system that people are used to and allow them to then integrate into the new technology, that happens much better. So one of the great things about CeFi is it takes a system that people are already used to, and then they can do things. So if Grandma can open up a bank account, which is something that she knows, with one of Casha's banks, or if they partner with one of Casha's banks or something, and she can go into her own bank and she can then buy Bitcoin and she can buy Ethereum there because her grandson is telling her how great it is, well, then that can absolutely happen. Especially when then she can see it on her monthly statements and be like, oh my gosh, my Bitcoin's gone up 50%. That will be very exciting to her. But until it's that simple, It's not likely that she's going to buy any Bitcoin. Another pro about Cashaa is they're already cash flow positive, at least according to their statements in 2020. I haven't actually seen their financials to see what's going on, but in the early days, most businesses are not cash flow positive. So I would like to see more about what that's about, but according to their statements, if their statements are true, they say they're cash flow positive as of 2020. Now, they recently raised $5 million to push harder. Now, $5 million is not a lot in the business world. It doesn't even get you very far, but, so, I mean, I see this as just a tiny positive, and, they did just hire over 100 direct sales agents to help them grow in their physical presence. So probably that's what the $5 million was about. And when you're an entrepreneur, you actually aren't trying to raise huge amounts of funds early, because what they take from you as a percentage of your company usually very expensive for that early money, right? So most entrepreneurs trying to delay massive cash raises till much later when they can get that for cheaper percentages of what they have to give up in their company. Now, they are a crypto-friendly bank, which is really what they're pushing right now, because there's a lot of crypto businesses, even YouTubers that I know, have gotten their bank accounts shut down because there's a lot of transfers going into their account, and the banks aren't really crypto friendly, and so they literally have had their bank accounts closed. And one of the big things Cashaa is saying right now is, hey, open up your account with us. We're a crypto friendly bank. So yeah, that makes sense, and they'll probably get a lot of people moving there. It's still early, so we'll see how well this continues to roll out. Their ideas are really good. How good will their rollout be? Now, I like where their market cap is. I don't love where their market cap is. I would have loved it if I knew about them under a 10 million market cap. I just forgot about them. They were not on my mind. I think I saw them in 2017 and maybe 2018 and haven't thought about them since. All right, so on the 23rd, they tweeted that their CAS integration into the banking platform is happening soon, but also their opening of U.S. accounts are happening very soon. Now, I think, let's go into their Twitter, because their Twitter, they do post about this a lot. So if you go to them on Twitter, it's at your Cashaa. Then you can join their Twitter and just see they're pretty heavy on posting here. And I did join the founders, or I followed the founders Twitter account too. So you can see, let's see on the 23rd here, promoted tweets, of course, right? Twitter's got to make their money. CAS integration into our banking platform and the opening of USD accounts are both happening very soon. So I think this just happened. Isn't this what they just announced? Right here. CS token utility will begin to be integrated into our banking platform for existing business clients next week. So now if they do announce that US customers can open up bank accounts with them soon, that'll probably lead to a big pump. But let's get on to our very last pro, at least as to what I listed for the pros and cons, and then I'll get more into the price action of what's going on there, and we'll look at the charts. So the last pro is that they are only listed, let me go to this, in the markets. They are really only on one major exchange, KuCoin. And when they were listed on that, they're also on MXC, they're on the Binance DEX, and I have no idea what BitBNS is. But that's one of the things that's probably held them back for forever, and they probably didn't focus on growing that until things were more in line. So it seems like they're building this smart, because if they had spent a lot of money getting on major exchanges in 2018, it still would not have gone well. So it seems like they've delayed a lot of their announcements and everything to when crypto was hot again, so that they could get the biggest bang for the buck on it. So let's go into what's happening with the price. Unfortunately, so now I wanted to show you in USDT first. So this is just trading view, and let's go into what's happening. This is when they got listed on KuCoin. Now, it's only fairly recently, but you saw this dump all the way from 10 cents, which is what the ICO price was, all the way down to 1.5 cents, and it's been bouncing around here. Some major dumping happening here, and honestly, a lot of people, when they've been holding bags for a long time and they get their first chance to sell, they dump. And it's unfortunate, because if they would have just held, think of all the people who sold down here and they're like, offload, oh my gosh, what if it goes to zero? And they panic sold, right? And now they could be selling it close to what they bought it at least. However, if they're really smart, they'd probably continue to hold it, because this is 2021. This is going to be a good year for crypto, and probably into 2022, at least for a few months. So, but people, we react on emotion, and this is emotional dumping, because they're just scared. And thankfully this happens, because it brings the price all the way down here. Now, some really smart people bought down here, and I just wasn't thinking about it, wasn't on my radar. I wished I had. So, where is it going from here? Well, like we talked about before, I'm going to get my little paint tool. So sometimes you get this pump, you get the retracement, you get a pump, you get a retracement, and we might see it continue to kind of do this for a little bit. I want to bring your attention, and then we might see it continue to go up. I don't know. So I've been buying in around here, because I don't know if it's going to do this or if it's going to continue to break lower for a while, because there's so many people that bought here, or they just realize they still have some and they're going to dump it. Because honestly, some people, as soon as they get a chance to dump, they do. They don't hold for the longer terms. So on a quick note, if you've been following my channel, I have been selling out my Populous. It's gone way up from where I bought it. I plan to hold it a lot more. There was some news I saw on the founder from 3 years ago that I hadn't seen before, that I factored into my equation. It's now, I started talking about it when it was 20 cents, and today is at $1.20. It was, a good time to make some exits for me. I think it's all the way up to $2 and something today. It's had a huge pump today. Don't know what's driving that, but it's a good time for an exit for me. Might do very well. People aren't always defined by their backgrounds, but there are some things about that just concern me, that I'm just going to move that into projects that I just feel like a little more certain about the founder. Make sense? So, back to Cashaa. I have the hardest time saying this. So, where is it going to go from here? Well, I wanted to show you one that I did do well on, though I didn't do near as well as I wish I had done, and that's Celsius. Now, unfortunately, I heard about Celsius way back here in 2019. I thought, this is great. I even downloaded the app, but I didn't buy any because it wasn't on any major exchanges that I knew. And at the time, I had really only used Uniswap once, and it has to do with Axie Infinity and their small love potions, because I had bought some Axie Infinity stuff, and I wanted to be able to buy some small love potions so I could make more Axies, and so I really wasn't very familiar with it, and that's really the only exchange I knew of I could buy it on, and I totally missed it until it did this big run up, well, all the way here. See, even when it came up to here, I still didn't buy till it did this big run up here, and I thought, oh my gosh. So I drew my Fibonacci retracements, and I figured out, well, this was a decent entry position, so I made some purchases here, and then it came lower, and your heart sinks when this happens, but you never know. You just have to find ones that you like, and you just start making some entry positions in them, right? So you never know where it's going to go. So then it sunk lower, and I bought more, and then it went here, and I bought more, and I actually felt sick. I was like, man, I like this token. I could have bought so much more if I hadn't made my first purchases here, because they were bigger purchases for the total amount I wanted to spend on them. Well, this has been one of my best producers, right? Because since then, it's gone absolutely crazy. Now, if you look at where it's gone from, where I could have been buying, and this is in Bitcoin. So in Bitcoin, it's absolutely, so from here, 1,000 Satoshis, it's absolutely 20x in Bitcoin value. If we were to run this versus USD, the numbers are fantastic. So from here, it's 20x in Bitcoin, while Bitcoin has absolutely gone berserk. And so the total amount is like 200x so far. Now, unfortunately for me, I missed out on the 200x because I didn't buy in here, and I waited till this big run up here before I got serious about it and started buying some. And so then I was able to buy some. And the great thing about it is you can stake it and earn rewards, and I just set it and forget it, right? And just let it continue to go up. Wish I had bought more, and I wish I'd bought sooner. But isn't that what we always say with hindsight? So let's get back to here. Is now a good time to buy? Well, it could be better in the future. Who knows? We've already retraced to the 23.6 and then the 38.2. We're above that now. Could it go down to the 50% retracement? It could. Could even come back down to here. So what I did was just half of what I was allocating to buy, I bought. And I pray that it doesn't turn around yet. I would love nothing more than to have it come way back here. Now, do I expect that'll happen? No, I hope that will happen. Will it happen? Who knows, right? So as it continues to bounce down to lower levels, then I make more purchases. And then I make more, and then I make more. So I find ones that I like, and then I invest in them, as they hit these different retracement levels or close to them. I usually put in my orders just above them because a lot of times they'll come down and some people like me will front run it, and it will never quite hit the level, right? So that's what's going on with them. I highly suggest, if you don't have a KuCoin account, to get one. I have a link below. It benefits the channel a little bit if you use that. You don't have to use it. I would be very appreciative if you don't have a KuCoin account and you do use that. Also, I would suggest that you add them on Twitter so that you follow them so you can see some of the updates. They post pretty regularly. Is this going to go somewhere? Well, let's put this in a space of who the competitors are. So the competitors are kind of Coinbase, really, but Coinbase doesn't have a token, right? So how do you invest in Coinbase? Well, they are going to go public, and did they already go public? I don't even remember. And so you can buy their stock and invest in them, but you can't really buy a token from them. So, there's no crypto app that you're going to be able to buy, at least for now. Maybe INJ will have them in the future that you can buy some of their stock. But for now, you can't buy anything on Coinbase. Now, they're kind of like a mixture between Coinbase and Binance. Binance, you can buy the token, and the Binance token has done very well. How do the token metrics on this work? I've gotten into that some. That's a very good long-term question as to whether the coin will do well. I really look hard at that during crypto winters. I don't look as hard at that when we're at such a low market cap and going big. They do offer discounts, they do offer staking for you to open your account, and there's some different metrics that they use. They're kind of along the way that Binance uses their token, which they offer you trading discounts if you pay for it with their coin, with the CAS coin, kind of like Binance does, and some other things. So my guess is they'll really run their token metrics pretty close to what Binance is doing, because that's what I've seen so far from them. Now, let's look at Binance's market cap. So right now, this is sells at $5 today. Let's look at Binance, BNB, which is number 11 on CoinMarketCap according to CoinGecko. And let's look at the total. The fully diluted value is 7.6 billion, but their current market cap, because most of their coins are in circulation, 6.2 billion. Okay. Market cap of 53 million. So if it 100x's from here, it will be at a market cap similar from there. If it 120x's from here, it'll be at the same market cap that Binance is at now. Now, my guess is in the coming months and during this year, Binance's market cap is going to be a heck of a lot higher. And Cashaa, can it hit that? Possibly. I don't know. I do like what I'm seeing. Really, a lot of factors can't be completely known, right? So you just try to make your best guesses, and those are some of the guesses that I'm making, is that there's some value here, and so I'm watching closely to see what happens. Guys, if you made it this far, I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your great feedback. I'd love to know what you think about this. When you look at it and do your due diligence on this, I'd love it if you come back and post in the comments what you like. I would especially love it if you posted what you don't like in there, because I don't want to just hear all the good news about something. I want to hear the bad news. I want to hear the biggest FUD out there that there is, so that at least I can weigh that in my decisions. Thanks so much. There's some really big FUD out there about PPT and Populous, and I still bought some, and I was made aware of more FUD, and I didn't sell. I waited till it pumped. Why? Because it's that time that things will do well even if there's some FUD out there. So I did sell after, and I am selling now that it's really done well. My original plan was to hold for much longer, but when I weighed out some of the cons that I learned, I decided great exit time for me, and that I'm looking for other things to really put that money and those gains into. And so one of them that I'm very interested in is this one. Thanks so much, guys. Let's make it rain this year. Love you all. Appreciate your comments so much. And yeah, I appreciate your insights. My hope with this channel is to really attract smart people who, hey, I love it if you're smarter than me. Not everyone has the time for a crypto channel. Smart comments and like reasoned analysis, I love reading. And I realize that there are some really brilliant people out there that don't have time, or they don't have the desire to make a YouTube channel. And I hope that I can earn your trust and that you follow my channel, and especially put your comments in there, because I want to read them. I appreciate everyone's comments on what they're interested in. I will be making more videos on some of the comments that I got there, and some of them I won't, just based on personal preference. Not that there's anything wrong with their project. For me, it's not my taste, but the ones that I do love, I will be making videos on. And so thank you so much for bringing Cashaa to my attention after having forgotten about it, because I do think this is a gem. Thanks, guys. Oh, this is my wife coming in. Hey, come say hi to everyone. We have a real estate channel together, so she's all dressed down. But this is my beautiful wife, and I'm trying to help her. I did get her to buy some Bitcoin and a little bit of Ethereum in this past month, but it took 3 years. She's a hard one to sell to at least get something. Thanks so much.